started. If you have not yet, please go ahead and sign in at bit.ly/GISD in all caps webinars. Anytime you use Bitly's, they are case sensitive. So make sure you're typing it exactly as it appears to get to the sign-in sheet. Boom. So just a heads up, we will be recording the webinar so we can put it in the catalog online with the digital learning department as well as for our campuses. So if you've been to a webinar for Gina and I before, with Gina and I, you know that we have a Q&A back channel. If you have a question, you can ask it in the chat. Gina will probably be able to answer it, but if there's some other question or something you'd like to see again, you can go ahead and put it in this webinar back channel, bit.ly/webinar back channel, capital W, capital B. Okay, so for those of you that know me, welcome back. For those of you that don't, I am LaShaka Wesley Hosier. I am the one-to-one coach at South Garland, and my partner in crime, the best in the business, is Gina. Gina, go ahead and say hey.
Good morning, everybody. I'm so glad you can be here today. We are going to cover some slides today. So hopefully we'll show you some ins and outs on making some really pretty slide presentations, compared to the days of PowerPoint. Google has really kicked up their game, and there are a lot of slide artists out there who have taken slide presentations to a whole new level. So we're going to show you some of that stuff today. If you ever have a question, feel free to email either LaShaka, ldwesley@garlandisd.net, or myself, Gigi King @garlandisd.net, and we'll be happy to answer your questions for you.
Excellent. Okay, so here's an overview of what we're going to get to talk about today. Beginner skills are going to be finding those templates, using third-party sites like SlidesMania, Slides Carnival, Slides Go to find some really beautiful and fun, quirky kind of things. The plus button, inserting menu, sharing permissions, and then importing PowerPoint. Our intermediate skills, and then our advanced skills. So we're going to go ahead and get started. You can't really do a slides presentation without just kind of looking at slides. So I'm going to escape this full screen here, and we are going to go through and talk about everything that is here. So this is what the overall slides looks like when you're working within a slides presentation. To get to slides, you would either go through your waffle in a new Google window, or you can just type in slides.google.com. It will bring you to either a blank one, or you can use a template. So if I go to this slides kind of homepage, this is where I'm going to find the templates, as well as all of my slides presentations, or I can just start a blank one. So looking at the template gallery, if I just click on it, you can see they have some specifically for education, some for personal, general presentations, yearbook, recipes, work, and then this project wireframe. So Slides does have a few templates of their own, but if you go to a page like SlideMania, and you see all I did was just Google SlidesMania, it will take you to this kind of database of different slides templates. So across the top, I can pick whatever I want, or I can just browse individually. So you see they have some really colorful ones. These are all going to be free downloadable ones, so you would just use that template. So if I go to fun, it's going to bring up choice boards, which we all know and love, weekly planners, lots of colorful things. Here's one with unicorns. If you've been to previous webinars, you know that we used that flower webinar for one. Here's one based on Wizard of Oz. The one I'm using today was Mr. G is what it's called. It looks like a Google theme. Here's one for Harry Potter. I mean, they have literally hundreds of thousands of templates on slides. So you just find whatever works for you. Okay. So From here, I can, like I said, pick a template or I can start a new one. Or I can go back to any of my previous slides that I've either worked on or created. So I'm going to search for the slides, webinar slides. And here it is. It's in my shared drive. It was last modified this morning. So once you open your presentation, here are all of the menus that you can work on. Now, obviously, Gina and I have finished these slides, but if I wanted to add another one, I could. So here's this plus button. If I click on the little caret next to it, I can go through and pick a layout for a particular slide. So if I know I want to insert, a blue slide this time, there it is. Okay. Now, if I just hit this plus button, it's going to insert the same slide that I just did. But I can always right click on that slide and apply a layout that way. So it's up to you. Either you can toggle the caret and get the with layout, or you can just insert a new slide. So if I'm on this slide, and it doesn't matter which blank slide you're on, okay, if I go to the insert menu, well, I'll start with file. We'll just go left to right. Okay, so from file, I can do a new presentation. I can pick one from a template, or I can go to any of the other Google Suite tools. I can open a previous one. I can import slides, which I'm going to show you how to do later. I can make a copy of this, and they just added in January the selected slides. So let's say I want to share this presentation with my class or with another teacher, but I don't want them to have the slide with my picture and Gina's picture on it. Then I would go through, select the slides I wanted to share, and then hit that selected slides. I have speaker notes on these, and I'll show you how to do that too. And so if I want to remove all the speaker notes, I can also do that. So now I'm giving her just this slide number 2 because it's the only one I selected. But you select the slides you want beforehand, you remove all your speaker notes, you hit OK. And it's going to create a copy of just that selected slide with no speaker notes, and then I can share it with whoever I need to. So that's a lot faster than going through and deleting things individually. Boom. Okay, I can also download this in a variety of ways. So if you, and I'm going to show you why you would need a JPEG, a PNG, or a PDF later. I can make it available offline, renaming, moving to trash. All of these are basics. Publishing to the web, we're going to talk about. Emailing collaborators. So let's say I've got a team of people that I'm working on this with, not just Gina, and I want to email them all at once. I can literally just click email collaborators, type in my message, and it will email all of the people working on the slide, which is a super simple way to get everybody emailed without having to do it individually. And I can do it straight from the document. I can look at the document details. I can switch the language to hundreds of whatever I needed it to be. And then here in page setup, I can change the size. So if I wanted this to look more like a book, I can change it to inches, and I could do 8.5 by 11 inches. And now you can see it's going to apply that to all of my slides. Now I can set it up if I wanted to do a PDF book and customize it that way, because sometimes it's a little easier to work in slides than it is to work in docs. So I'm going to undo that change just because it made all my stuff wonky, but you get the point. Okay, edit. Those are basic edit tools. Same thing with view. So now let's go to insert. I'm going to insert an image. I have a couple of different choices. I can upload one directly from my computer. So it's going to pull up all of the things from my computer. So here is the Twitter invitation that I posted this morning. So I can do that. Or I can search the web for an image. So it's going to open a toolbar directly in slides. So it's not even going to take me out. It's a Google image search, and I can look for flowers. Now it's going to bring up all of these flowers, and all I would do is click on it and then hit insert. And so, wow, that's a really pretty flower background. Now I have this flower, and if I wanted to, I could resize this and use this as my image background. And as you can see by right-clicking on the image, I have all these format options. I can add it to my theme as part of the master. I can do whatever I wanted to do. but I'm going to undo that because I don't want to mess it up. Okay. So I can insert a text box, audio. If you have audio files in your drive, you can go through and insert audio in your drive. Now, I don't have any audio files in my drive, but if I did, this is where I would do it. So if you have music that you want embedded in your slides, you would just need to go to insert audio, but again, they have to be saved in your drive. You can do the same thing with video. So I can search by looking on YouTube, or I can pull one directly from my Google Drive. So here is, those are all vlogs, vlogs, vlogs. Okay, so how to add titles, due dates, and attachments in Google Classroom. I can pop that right into my slide. And now it's going to bring up a couple of different format options, but this video is one that I recorded, and I can embed it right in this slides presentation. And then I have my video playback option. So let's say I want to just show someone a clip. This is a 4-minute video, but I want it to start at 45 seconds, and I want it to end at 1 minute and 37 seconds. Okay, it's just going to play that clip for whoever is watching. It's automatically going to start at 45, and it's going to end at 1:37, and then it'll go to the next slide. I can mute the audio when I'm presenting or on the video in general, or I can autoplay it. I can change the size, make it smaller, make it larger, lock the aspect ratio. So now as I move it, it's going to have the same kind of dimensions so that that widescreen effect is still there. I can change the position if I wanted to, or I can add a drop shadow, which, I mean, this is just going to do like a little shadow underneath the video. Some people prefer it because it makes the images look better. So that's how you would insert a video. And again, if you wanted to search for one on YouTube, you would literally just type in whatever you wanted to search for. So we all know that I love puppies. So if I search for puppies, it's going to bring up any funny puppies, and I can insert that video as well, and it's going to give me the same format options. So if you know that there's a video for your students that's on YouTube that you'd like them to watch a clip of, you can put that here. Shapes, regular shapes, tables. They've actually added 2 new things. You can insert charts and diagrams in slides before, and they've got all these kind of pre-done templates of diagrams. So if I look at my hierarchy charts, I can format it to be 3, 4, or 5 levels. I can change the color. I can do whatever I want. And then I've got this really pretty chart that I can put in if I've got, you know, a regular presentation. Word art, we all remember what word art is. So if I type in my name, okay, then it gives me the options for the word art, and I can format this to however I want. And it's going to be, you know, a little different than just typing in my name in a text box. Lines, comment. So Gina and I leave each other comments all the time as we're working. So I would do a plus GG, and that's going to bring up her email. So this is going to let her know, hey, Lashaka made a comment, and I'll say, can you add a pic here? And then I hit comment. So now this blue thing means it went to her, and then she could come back in and mark it as done or resolve it. I'm going to go ahead and resolve it so she doesn't have to think about that later. Okay, so there's that format. This is when you are formatting your text or your pictures. So let's say I wanted it to have double spaced instead of, you know, the single line spacing. However you format your text is there. Here from the slide, I can add transitions, I can change the background, skip slide. So this means that when I click on present, see how this little eye with a line through it popped up? So now if I go to present this, it's no longer going to show that slide first. It shouldn't. Okay, so in presentation mode, it's no longer going to show that slide. That little eye means it's going to be skipped or it's hidden, okay? Let's see, what else? Slide. I can move the slide, so I can move it to the end. I can move it to the back. So there, I just moved the slide that I had highlighted to the end. Another way to do that is within the tile view. You can click on a slide and drag it to wherever you want. So if you know that, hey, I didn't want that slide there, or hey, this would go better here, you can move things however you want to and make them happen that way. I can change the layout again. I can add transitions. So let's say I want all of my slides to kind of fade in. I'm going to hit apply to all. And now you can see these little circles. Those are going to be my transitions. So that's telling me, hey, I need, I know that this transition is here. Okay. I'm reading Gina's message. So when I go back to my video, so let me click on this one here. Get out of the transition menu. I'm here. If I wanted to assign a video to a student, okay, I can leave them a comment and I could type in, you know, ++ Smith. Oh, we actually have children with the last name Smith. Okay. So if I type in plus, and I'll just do it with Martine, then I can say, check this out. I think this would be great for your presentation. And if I hit comment, it would go straight to her. So a lot of the students, you know, that's one way to talk to them without doing it. Crop and shape of an image. So let me go back and here's my image. Okay, so I can crop my image here. So let's say I wanted to take out these words and I just want the dog in the tie. Here I can change this. If I don't want him at the computer, I can kind of crop that out. I can resize, so then I would just hit crop. And now I've got a smaller image because I've taken out what I had before. Now, if I hit that crop menu again, I can change. So let's say I want this to be a circle. Now I have a crop circle, and I'm going to make it so that this dog is a little more in the center of my circle there. And if I hit crop, now I have a circular image. So if you have an image that you want in, you know, a different maybe banner or whatever else, hitting this arrow, this little caret next to the crop is going to change the shape of the image. Well, it's just going to cut out that image in particular. Okay, so you can do whatever you want to with that particular image and then hit crop. And now I've got, you know, a little half circle of my dog. Let's see, we did slide editing the master. This is so important and so super helpful. You can see all of the, and this isn't one because this is a pre-made one. Let me open a new file so I can show you how what editing a master actually looks like so we can play with it. So here I'm on just a brand new presentation. I'm going to click back on the slide. And if I go to edit master, it's going to bring up every layout of the slide possible. So now if I click on this and I click here, instead, let's say every time I type something in the first level, I want it to look different. I want it to be blue, or I want it to be green. Okay, I can go through and change that. And now every time I type in a first level, it's going to turn blue. Every time I want a second level there, I can change this to whatever I want, however I want it to be. If I automatically want to add a drop shadow to every level here, if I want to change this and get rid of the master subtitle every time I do this new slide, then I've just erased that subtitle on every time I type in a slide. And now,
edit each slide.
If I go back to apply layout, this title, it doesn't matter what I do, that subtitle box is gone. So editing the master is a really important tool. And again, you get there by clicking on slide and then edit master, and you can fix whatever you want. If I didn't want the third level to have squares, If I wanted it to have a different shape, I could change that. Okay, let's say I wanted arrows or diamonds or whatever. I could do whatever I wanted. Okay. So editing the master is a really fun tool, and it's helpful because if I wanted to change the colors, okay, and I wanted to change my accent 4 to blue, or I wanted to change my text and background here to red, okay, and then you see everything that is now a title slide or a title on a slide becomes red. So it's a good quick way to change everything that you want to change at once. Okay, arrange. This is also important. Let me go back to a slide. If you're watching, remember to mute your mics. Let's see. I'm going to insert some pictures, and it doesn't really matter what we have. So let's just search the web, and I'm going to insert 3 and show you guys how to arrange them vertically and horizontally. So I want to insert that one, that one. So insert, I'll just copy it. Okay, so copy, we're gonna paste, we're gonna paste, we're gonna paste. Okay, so now I've got these 4 pictures, and I don't want to take the time to arrange them or align them. So I want to align them in the center. So with that one arrange, I did that. I want to distribute them vertically. So now they're all spaced evenly vertically. And I would like to align them in the middle. So arrange, distribute horizontally. So now these pictures, let me erase this text box. No, not in the text box. Come on, little guys. Everything that I selected is going to arrange all at once, but that is only going to highlight when I have pictures on the screen to change. Okay. I can also group them. So once I get them in the perfect position, I can highlight everything, hit group, and then when I go to move it, I can move all of them at once. Tools. One of the really nice tools is the voice type speaker notes. So this is basically giving it dictation. So as I'm typing or as I'm speaking, all of my notes are popping up here at the bottom. So if I'm looking at a slide, rather than typing in, oh, make sure you say this or do this, I can voice dictate and everything is good to go there. You just hit stop and see, I can now say period or new line. And there's all of my notes based on what I just said to you. The Q&A history, and when you put it in presentation mode, you can do a Q&A. So I'll show you what that looks like. And then add-ons. So looking at add-ons, you can see I've got a couple of add-ons here. To get add-ons, which if you don't have the Pear Deck add-on, please, please, please make sure you install it. We're going to be talking about Pear Deck tomorrow, actually, and how it partners with Google Slides. And it's an amazing tool to use in the classroom. And so you need the add-on for that. So you would just do add-ons. So one of the ones that a lot of people have is called Unsplash Images. Now I have this one installed as well, but if you click on it, it's going to show you what this is. So basically these are copyright-free pictures that you can use in a presentation without breaking any type of infringement. Okay, so I see how it says uninstall. That's because I already have it installed. But if I click on Unsplash Images and then insert a photo, it brings up a toolbar that are free to use for anything, okay? Completely free for commercial and personal use. So this time I'll type in kittens. But now I've got all of these pictures and I don't have to worry about, I mean, I'm still gonna cite that I got it from Unsplash, but I don't have to worry about breaking any type of copyright infringement. I can just put this picture in here and know that it is free for use. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my slides webinar and I'm going to show you the presentation view. So let's get out of editing my master. Okay, so now if I click this button here, the little caret next to present, I can see this presenter view. So that's going to bring up 2 different windows. I can see my actual presentation, so I can see what you guys see. It's going to time my presentation. So if I know I only have 10 minutes or 5 minutes, I can see that. It's going to show me what my next slide is. If I had speaker notes on a slide, and let me get to one that does. I moved them all out of order, so now they're gone. Okay, so here's my speaker notes. They're going to pop up for me. So as a speaker, that's amazing. And then they have this thing called audience tools. So this is where I can embed a Q&A session directly into my presentation. So here I'm going to minimize this presenter view so you can kind of see. So see how this ask a question at slides.app and then this popped up? If you go to that website and type in a question, I would be able to see it immediately, and it would pop up in my little presenter view window here so that I can see who has a question without being interrupted, without you guys having to raise your hand. It provides anonymity. Or if I say, hey, type all of your questions in this box, and then I'll address them at the end of the presentation, that is kind of a bank for people to ask their questions, for me to address them, or if I need to find the answers later. So if I say, okay, after break, I'll answer any of your questions, put them here, then when you come back, that gives me time to read over them, see what the questions are, and go from there. I can also skip slides if I wanted to, move around, whatever I wanted to do. So see, look, somebody just put testing, and it's anonymous. So then if this is a question that I want everyone else to see and I hit present, okay, now it pops up on the screen. So now everyone can see the question that was asked by anonymous. So I don't have to repeat the question 100 times, and as I'm answering it, you guys can see it, which is a really nice option. While we're in presenter view, I'm going to go ahead and turn on captions. This is another type of way to help your audiences. You do need to speak very clearly and enunciate to make sure that it is grabbing all of your words. But it allows the captions to pop up on the screen automatically without you really having to do anything, which is another cool tool. I can also get a pointer, a laser pointer. So here I can, you see I'm kind of drawing with it. But if I want to highlight something, I automatically have this laser pointer. I can pull up my notes again in presenter view, or I can go back to the Q&A, all from this little menu on the bottom. So everybody can see the different options. And then if it was on a timer, if I did like 5 seconds for each slide, I could hit play. And then you see it moves through. This one's on like a 2-second timer, I think. So you could really not have to do anything if you timed it perfectly. So here I can open my speaker notes. Here's auto advance. There's 2 seconds. I can change it every 30 seconds. So now it's going to take a little bit more time. I have a little more freedom to talk about what's on the screen before it changes. So that I got to in the setting menus. And from here, I can also download it as a PowerPoint or as a PDF. Or if I wanted to, I could print it. And we're going to look at some of the different printing options as well. So I exited that. We're back at just the regular home screen. Sharing. So I talked about sharing previously if I wanted to collaborate with Gina. But if I want to share this out, right now link sharing is off. I'm going to go ahead and turn it on. Okay, and then this is the link I would copy. So see how it says people at Garland ISD with the link can view. That's what I want. So that means anybody that signs in with their GISD account can view this as long as they're in their GISD account. So I'm going to hit copy. That link is copied, and then I can paste that wherever. That's how I would give it to students or to you guys, people who need to see. Now, to share it with Gina, totally different because I want her to work on it. That's where I'm going to type her email address or her name, and it's going to pull it up. I'm going to give her editing power, and then I would hit send. Gina already has access, so I'm not going to worry about that. Okay. Publishing to the web. There's another way you can get people to see your presentation without having to share there. And this way, I can get a link to publish it to the web. So I can have it autoplay every 30 seconds, start it. Okay. And then I can have it loop if I want. And if I hit publish, yes, it's going to give me a special link. So if I copy that link, and this is something I could share on Twitter, you saw, or in my email and I paste that link, it's going to take me to an automatic screen that doesn't have any of the file menus. It brings up a player, but you see they don't have the Q&A, they don't have the laser pointer, they don't have anything. And then after 30 seconds, it's automatically going to go forward on the next slide, and it's going to continually replay because that's what I set it to. So if you're doing a presentation or you've got something you want to share maybe to a large audience, you can publish it to the web and then give them this link, which this is a super long link. So I would create a bit.ly or a GG to shorten it, or use the URL shortener, which is an add-on that I have, URL shortener. So you click it, and now I have this teeny tiny link, and I can copy that. And now if I put that in a new window, it will take me back to the same thing. Oh, that's a lot easier for people than typing in that really long web address. But it will take me there, and then it's automatic for those people that are watching. And again, that's a way I can share with a really large group without giving them any access. They can't make a copy of the slide. They can't add it to their drive. They can't do anything. This just shows them the slides. That's all it's going to do. Okay, so publishing to the web is, again, important if you wanted to share it with a larger audience, or even share it with your students, but not give them any of the options that you get from this menu bar up here. I can also embed this on a website. So I can make it a smaller icon. I can have it change the slides every minute. I can start the slideshow, okay? And then I would just copy this code and I would put it wherever I can add an embed code. So you can do that on websites, mostly websites. But anytime that you see embed, you copy the embed code, paste it there, and then you get a little mini version of your slides. Linking to another slide. So a lot of times people will say, well, I want to, here's my image here. So I want to have people click on this image, and from this image, I want them to go to a specific slide. So if I click on the image and then I click hyperlink here, see how it brings up this menu, slides in this presentation? If I click on that, it will give me the number of slides. So now that is slide 3. I'm going to go ahead and take it to slide 7, and I hit apply. So I can go in and I can edit that, I can copy it, or I can remove the hyperlink. So now if I go to presentation mode from here, my dog, if I click on him, see how my cursor, and I've got a custom cursor so you guys can see what it is that I'm clicking on. So I've got this big arrow, and then when I get over something that's clickable, it turns into this little hand. If I click on the hand, it takes me straight to slide 7. So if you're doing Choose Your Own Adventures for your students and you want it to link to a specific side, I can also do that with text. So if I put join us again, I would go up, I'd click the hyperlink. I can link it to slides into this presentation, or as you can see, it thinks it found things for me. So I can link to a specific website, to a whole nother set of slides, or I can find more. So if I click on find more, it's gonna allow me to search here on the web. I can search for images, or I can search within my own drive to have it link somewhere else. So join us again. If I wanted to have it link to the Pear Deck webinar, then it's going to pull up my Pear Deck slides, okay, or this Pear Deck invitation. So here's the Pear Deck invitation. I click on that, and now it's going to take me from this to the Pear Deck. So you can have it linked to a whole set of separate slides, or you can have it linked within the slide itself. We talked about customization, embedding videos, if-then adventures, add-ons, audio. Okay, so let's talk about some of the other things that you can do when you change the size. Because aside from creating a PDF book, you think, well, why would I need to change the size of a slide? Slides, because you can insert images and manipulate them a lot easier than you can in Docs, allows you to create templates for images. So here, if I click on my Earth Day TT, Okay. I changed the size of the slides to 2 inches by 2 inches. Okay. So then I went to a site called Tall Tweets. Tall Tweets is going to take your slides that you put in a slide presentation and create a GIF or GIF, however you say it. So I can change my images. So it's going to let me select my presentations. And this was all I did before. I went through, I saved this as Earth Day TT, Earth Day Tall Tweet. Okay. But you have to pick a slide that has multiple, you have to pick a presentation that has multiple slides. Okay. So I would just go through, pick whichever slide presentation I wanted it to make into a GIF or GIF. And then it lets you pick your pixel size. I could change the order of this. So I just have it 1, 2, 3, 4, but if I wanted the fourth one first, it would do whatever. And then you set your duration. So if I wanted it to go maybe a little slower, I can change it to 4. I would hit create. And now it's going to stay on each image for 4 seconds once it gets there. And then you can tweet it out directly from here, or you can save the GIF. So in an email that I sent this morning to my campus and to Memorial's campus, I can see my GIF in my email. So I added, there's the invitation, and then on a side note, happy Earth Day. Okay, so that's just a way to kind of do something fun with your students. You can make your own GIF. So if you have your Bitmoji doing something fun, or you've got maybe some stop motion animation that you want to do, or if you've just got, you know, yourself working out a problem and you've got images that you import on slides, you can turn anything into everything, which is super cool. So I didn't want, you know, a giant slide there, and I'm able to resize this, but I wanted it to be kind of small. So that's why I resized my page size in slides. Another thing that I did was a Google Classroom header template. So you can see this is way different than the normal page in a slide. Okay, so I went through, I found this template online, I customized it, added my little Bitmoji. So now when I go to my Google Classroom, and I just did this for my test class, I can see, instead of having one of the themes that Google Classroom has picked for me, here in my test class with my one student, there's my background, and it's the perfect size. One of the other things that I did was create an image for the drive that Gina and I share. So you can go in and customize the sizes to fit whatever type of pixel size you need, and then create from there, which is really nice because, you know, if I had this and I wanted to change it, because before it was, I think, just like pencils or something. I did the same thing for the one with South, but just put the South emblem up instead of having these. So it's a way to customize and kind of add some of your own personality into other areas within Google by creating size differences in the slides presentation. Okay, I think that is all of the stuff I wanted to cover. Are there any questions? It's all quiet on the Western Front. Let me stop sharing my screen and stop presenting. Okay, so does anyone have any questions that they want to ask about slides or how to add anything, something I didn't cover, something you want me to show you again? Where do you go to get videos? Okay. So if I'm here in slides, hold on, I have to hit present. Otherwise you guys aren't going to see what I'm doing. Okay. So present now. I'm going to present my entire screen. Yes. Okay, so if I'm in slides, I'm going to go to insert and then find the video menu. From video, I can search on YouTube. I can search if I have a specific YouTube URL, so I know what video I want. I have the URL for it. I can tape it there. Or I can go to my Google Drive and find any of the videos that I have saved in my Google Drive. So I'm just going to select, and then it'll put my video into So that was earlier. I recorded a video for my Impact Kids. So there's my video. And again, I can have it start or stop wherever I want. And I can change any of the things that I want to change, but you're just going to search either in your Google Drive or on YouTube. Next question. Anybody?
Sorry, I'm back. My Chromebook kicked me off.
Okay, converting PowerPoint to slides. Oh, yes, good question, good question. No worries, Gina. Okay, so if I have a PowerPoint presentation, so let's say I go to my PowerPoint, I only have one, but let's start a new one, and I'm just gonna do Madison, and it's gonna open my PowerPoint, and I'm just gonna do test slide, okay? And then I'm gonna save this. Yes, I know what I'm doing. Thank you. Home. Save. I haven't used PowerPoint in so long that I have forgotten how to save things. Okay, so I'm saving it as presentation 1 in my documents, and you can see it is clearly a PowerPoint presentation. So I'm going to hit save. I can go to Google. So I'm going to go to my drive. And I'm going to do a new file upload. So if I go to my documents, I can see there's my PowerPoint presentation. I'm going to click open. So after I do that, it'll pop up over here that it's uploading. Okay, and you can see it still has the PowerPoint symbol. It's starting my upload. Okay, so now my upload is complete. So if I click on it, it's going to take me here. Okay, now I have my drive set to always open it in editor mode. But if you don't, when you open it, it'll say presentation1.ppxt for PowerPoint presentation. Okay, and then you can edit it as a Google slide, and then you would just go to File, say, or Download. Now see, mine says Microsoft PowerPoint because again, it's saved as that, but I can download it as a Microsoft PowerPoint if I wanted to. And then here is my download. And when I open it up, it's going to take me right back to PowerPoint with the changes that I had made, if any. So if you have a bunch of PowerPoints on a jump drive or on an external hard drive or on your actual computer hard drive, I would definitely recommend uploading everything into your Google Drive. Google now works with all Microsoft Suite tools. So it will open Excel, it will open Word, it will open PowerPoint, and give you the option to edit them within the Google Suite. And then you can save everything as a Google Suite new presentation instead of PowerPoint. That way you have access to it anywhere because it's cloud-based as opposed to just on your jump drive. All right, let's see. Next question. Any other questions? When you go to Drive, do you open with slides? Mine automatically opens. You just click on it to open it, and it'll open in slides automatically. But like I said, mine, because of the settings I have in my Drive, it will actually open it as an editor file. So if I go to Drive and click on the little cog there and settings, I see how I have this convert uploaded files to Google Docs editor format. That is automatically going to open any other file that is not a Google file in the Google app for me to edit. So you can change anything else.
Thomas, a lot of times add-ons are not available. There's a thing with privacy issues and making available for students under the age of 16 and parent permission. So any add-ons that are blocked, it's because of issues like that. So technology is not going to open that up for everyone to be able to use. So some of the old add-ons that like LaShaka and I especially have added,
a lot of those have now been blocked. So, and that's the reason why you went to the Upsplash photos. I
Right.
know I have one for fonts that I absolutely could not live without, and now I
Mhm.
can't get it either.
Yeah, so I have some old ones, and once you download them, they're there. But if I go and uninstall it, I can't get it back. But I do know Pear Deck is definitely unlocked. Everyone can do Pear Deck, and then I have Slides Toolbox, which does some fun things too. But these I downloaded before they locked everything down. So if you want to see what those tools look like, if you a workaround for that would be to sign in with your private or personal email, and then be able to play with them and share that presentation with yourself with your GISD account. And then all of the features that you used would be in the slides presentation. You just wouldn't be able to edit it from your GISD account, if that makes sense. So I'm going to move this to the trash because I don't want it there. I don't want extra copies of everything. Any other questions? No. I'm going to move this one to trash too.